Well, this morning, still more questions than answers over the massive security fail leading to Donald Trump's attempted assassination. A shocking new report claiming the Secret Service denied Trump's request for more security at events for at least 2 years beforehand. Our next guest served as a Secret Service agent under Presidents Bush and Obama. Bill Gage joins us now. Bill, let's start there, if you wouldn't mind. Last weekend, the Secret Service spokesperson came out very forcefully and said that's not true, that it had not been denied. Now, new Washington Post reporting backs up the idea that this had been declined to the Trump campaign, this idea of more protection from Secret Service.
Good morning, Will. Thanks for having me. And yeah, I've read those reports, and you know, for years the service has been chronically understaffed, underfunded, and I know from a political lens it looks like that those requests were denied for political purposes. I can tell you that that is not true. The service is an apolitical organization that makes these decisions based on available resources. And it is a simple supply and demand equation for the Secret Service. You know, Biden had an event on that Sunday at the LBJ Library. There was also the RNC that was cooking off in Milwaukee. So the service was already stretched thin and has been for probably the last year and a half, just due to the campaign season kicking off.
Right.
And, you know, there's still a president traveling. That, you know, there was probably close to 500, maybe 700 agents in Milwaukee, plus multiple CS teams. They only have limited resources, and they have to allocate those resources effectively.
Well, I appreciate that, Bill, and I appreciate that the goal of the service, and I'm sure many of the agents, is to be apolitical. It's just a little bit hard to accept at face value when there's an immediate denial last weekend from the Secret Service spokesperson that is now being contradicted by reporting. It seems in that moment something is not adding up in how they're responding to this allegation, or perhaps truth you've denied in the past when you're saying, no, we have not. So it just sort of brings them into question on what exactly is going on behind the scenes, at least at the highest levels of the Secret Service.
Yeah, Will, great question. And, you know, I can appreciate the inquiry, and listen, I can appreciate the optics there. You know, I get questions from friends and family all the time about that, and from both sides of the aisle. And, you know, the Secret Service is in a difficult spot. Listen, I have a lot of friends in federal law enforcement. I have a lot of respect for what the FBI and other agencies do. But when you look at the core mission of the Secret Service, it is vital to the functioning of our, you know, democratic system. Our elected leaders, especially in the executive branch, they have to make decisions based on their best judgment,
right,
not under threat of violence or threat of gun. You would essentially have a J6 every month if we didn't have the Secret Service. So I think their mission is vital. And when you look at the funding they get compared to the FBI, you know, it's appalling. So this is a great opportunity for the director to go before Congress and say, listen, we need more funding. You know, that rally in Pennsylvania should have had, you know, 500 agents and 30 CS teams, but they just don't have those resources.
Let me go through a few of the details on the advance work. I'd love to hit as many of these as I can with you in the time that we have. Wall Street Journal is reporting that Crooks, the would-be assassin, flew a drone. Their reporting is that day. He flew it before the rally that day. Should that not have been picked up by advance work by the Secret Service?
You know, possibly, Will. You know, I actually saw that this morning. I saw that reporting, and I thought, oh, there's no way he flew the drone during the actual event or just prior to the event. And then I actually saw some footage that was captured you know, during the event of him flying it. It was right near his, you know, maybe like 20 or 30 feet in the air, right near him, and you could clearly see him. So, yeah, you know, the service has a lot of sort of plainclothes assets that are out there that probably should have caught that.
Right.
That in the Secret Service is known as counter surveillance units, where they are plainclothes and they are sort of sprinkled throughout the event and looking for that exact type of thing. And absolutely, that should have been picked up.
So that's
However, I do want to add that, you know, drones are so ubiquitous now, everybody has them. So it probably really didn't draw attention to the bystanders.
Real quick, that's a red flag. What about this reporting? We don't know yet how he got the gun into the event. There's some suggestions maybe he hid it, I don't know, behind an air conditioning unit or somewhere, and then retrieved it when he wanted to use it. Should that not have been picked up in advance work by the Secret Service?
Yeah, you know, I think that's going to come out in the investigation, Will. And I don't want to speculate on if that was a security gap or not, because if he hit it, you know, he could have hit it well outside the perimeter, which is not typically a place that the Secret Service, what we call sweep. and the Secret Service, they typically would not sweep something on the far outer perimeter. They're really only going to sweep kind of like that inner perimeter where the protectee is going to be. So I don't want to speculate without having the facts yet. But yeah, absolutely. If someone was able to get a rifle, you know, and you look at the dimensions of a rifle, it's very long. Like that should have drawn red flags. But I don't want to speculate on you know, if anybody should have noticed that.
And then there's the timeline. We'll have to get into that at a future time, Bill. But the timeline about warnings, eyes on this individual, how long he had on the roof. There's a lot of questions there as well about the timeline and the minutes given to allow this to happen. I hope we have that discussion in the future. Thank you, Bill Gage.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Will.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.